This is the remnants of the disaster of the Memorial Day 2015 flood in the Blanco River that went from this normal level all the way up the hill and to about 8 feet inside that house, maybe 6 feet at least. All of this area was underwater, as you can see from the way the trees are bent. It was quite a disaster all the way down. Something to behold, and the people that lived through it, some didn't, they were just amazed, because no one would have ever thought that the water would ever get that high. As you can see, that house right there, it had lots of water in it. Broke out windows, doors, washed up all this wood everywhere, tore down huge 100-year-old trees. The force of the water coming through here, 35, 45, 50 miles an hour maybe, just would devastate everything in its path. And so it was a pretty scary deal. The arborists, the people that care for trees, have come down here and have asked people not to clear away all of this tree damage, because it is a good incubator, a good trap for sediments and seeds for the next trees to come up and grow from. Just little pieces of piles of trash that people have collected from perhaps miles and miles and miles upstream. There's some roofs that have ended up in that tree. Pretty much pulled the tree out of the ground. The water on this side is probably going pretty fast to do this damage, although it is possible that just things running into these trees at a great speed knocked these trees down, some of which had been here for hundreds of years. So this is definitely not a 100-year flood, but a 1,000-year flood. But with climate change, as we are dealing with now, who knows what will be normal anymore. There probably is not going to be a normal anymore, sadly. So here we have the Blanco River as it has been reshaped, reformed by the flood. And because of the 2 inches of rain that we have had in the last 2 days, The river is running quite nicely. It's just really pretty right now, and a far cry from what it was prior to May because of our drought in 2015 and 2014 and 2013. The river was a tenth the size it is now. It was more like a creek. Look at all this gravel that has washed through here and built a huge gravel bank. I can't imagine what it would have been like to have seen this live when it was roaring. But strangely enough, that house right there doesn't seem too much the worse for wear, I guess because of this bank. And then across the river you see a low-lying area there where the water could expand to. So you can just only imagine how the water found its way. Here we have a massive 150-year-old tree stump, as it was uprooted, no doubt, from many miles upstream, only to be washed down to this area. The fact the trunk is cut off with a saw of some type indicates that it's been cut for some reason, perhaps earlier in the year, May, as people came to try to change the landscape by getting rid of these large trees that had been knocked over. They cut their parts off, and perhaps this one washed down with another flood that we had had since May 2015, because we've had significant rains in this area that could have easily washed this thing down from a mile or two upstream as we head in that direction. Here we see a tree that was snapped off. Some of these may actually come back and have some sprouts, although with the way their bark has been stripped, it's not likely that one's going to live or come back. Any of these right through here, because they caught the brunt of the onslaught. Uno is a good lead dog. He knows right where to go. You can see through here, this is a very nice plain. I'm sure pretty deep in water right through here. But the houses don't seem too much the worse for wear, although it's difficult to tell from this distance. You can see by that dead tree up there and the branches that have collected in it, there must have been water that high. Very peaceful today. A beautiful day. December 13, I believe, or 14, a Monday. Blue sky, 76, 78 degrees, some wind. Just a beautiful day. Uno is enjoying exploring. He's a good dog.